We live in a world full of stories. These stories are not always true, yet they shape our lives. Think of TheMatrix from the famous movie. It was a computer program. It created a false reality for humans. Our matrix is not made of computer code. It is made of ideas, beliefs, and norms. These are the invisible blueprints of our society. They tell us how to live, what to want, and who to be. This societal matrix is powerful. It starts working on us from birth. Our families teach us its rules. Schools reinforce these rules. Media bombards us with its messages. Friends expect us to follow along. We learn about money, success, and happiness. These concepts seem real, like mountains or rivers, but many are just shared human inventions. They are stories we agree to believe. This agreement makes them powerful. Consider the idea of a nation. A nation is not a physical thing. You cannot touch France or Germany. They are stories. Stories about shared history, culture, and destiny. Millions of people believe these stories because they believe nations become powerful forces. They can build cities and wage wars. Our daily lives are structured around these fictions. We follow laws, pay taxes, and feel patriotic, all based on a shared story. The Matrix is not necessarily evil. It helps us cooperate in large numbers. Shared myths allowed Homo sapiens to build civilizations. Think of laws, money, or human rights. These are all useful fusions of imagination and reality. The problem arises when we forget they are constructs, when we mistake the map for the territory, when the stories limit us instead of serving us. Then we become prisoners of our own collective imagination. Societal norms are the invisible threads of the matrix. They guide our behavior. They tell us what is normal or acceptable. We learn these norms without thinking. We absorb them from our surroundings: what clothes to wear for an interview, how to behave at a funeral, which emotions to show in public. These are unwritten rules, yet very powerful. They create order and predictability in society. Expectations from others also weave this web. Our parents might expect us to pursue a certain career. Our friends might expect us to share their hobbies. Society expects us to marry and have children by a certain age. These expectations can feel like heavy burdens. We might conform to avoid disappointing others or to avoid social disapproval. This desire for acceptance is a strong human trait. It can lead us away from our true selves. Education systems play a big role. They teach us valuable skills, of course, but they also teach us to think in certain ways. They often reward conformity over creativity. They prepare us to fit into existing societal structures. Media, too, shapes our desires. Advertisements tell us what to buy to be happy. News outlets frame events in particular ways. Social media shows us idealized versions of life. These influences are subtle but constant. The result is a kind of self-governance. We internalize these norms and expectations. We start to police ourselves. We judge ourselves if we deviate from the norm. We might feel shame or guilt for wanting something different. This is how the matrix maintains its hold. Not always through force, but through our own willing participation. We become a part of the system that constrains us. This makes breaking free a complex inner challenge. History is full of individuals who challenge their matrix. These people questioned the accepted truths of their time. Consider Galileo Galilei. In his era, everyone believed the sun revolved around the earth. This was the official story, supported by powerful institutions. Galileo looked through his telescope. He gathered evidence. He dared to say the earth moved around the sun. He was punished for this. But his courage changed our understanding of the cosmos. Then there were the suffragettes. For centuries, the story was that women should not vote, that they were not suited for politics. This was a powerful societal norm. Brave women like Emmeline Pankhurst in the UK and Susan B. Anthony in the US challenged this. They organized, protested, and suffered for their cause. They faced ridicule and imprisonment, but they eventually tore a hole in that part of the matrix. They expanded freedom for millions. Think of Martin Luther King Jr. He lived in a society deeply divided by race. The matrix of his time said that segregation was natural, that black people were inferior. Dr. King had a different dream. He spoke of equality and justice. He challenged the discriminatory laws and attitudes. He too faced immense opposition and violence, yet his non-violent resistance helped dismantle legal segregation. He showed that moral courage can change deeply entrenched beliefs. These figures were not superhuman. They were ordinary people who chose to see differently. They understood that the reality around them was, in part, a human construction. And if humans constructed it, humans could change it. They paid a price for their defiance. But their actions created new possibilities for everyone. They remind us that the matrix is not fixed. It can be rewritten. Their struggles paved the way for future freedoms. Philosophers have long been interested in the nature of reality. Many have, in their own ways, poked holes in the matrix. Plato, an ancient Greek philosopher, offered the allegory of the cave. He described prisoners chained in a cave. They saw only shadows on a wall. They believed these shadows were reality. One prisoner escapes. He sees the real world outside. When he returns to tell the others, they don't believe him. This story highlights how we can mistake illusion for truth. René Descartes, a 17th century philosopher, took doubt to an extreme. He questioned everything he believed. Could his senses be deceiving him? Was he dreaming? He wanted to find one thing he could be absolutely sure of. He concluded, "I think, therefore I am." This act of radical doubt was a way to break free from unexamined beliefs. It encouraged people to use their own reason, not just accept what they were told by authorities. Friedrich Nietzsche in the 19th century was a fierce critic of societal norms. He talked about herd morality. This is the tendency of people to follow the crowd, to adopt values without thinking. Nietzsche urged individuals to create their own values, to overcome the limitations imposed by society. He encouraged a revaluation of all values. This was a call to examine the foundations of our moral beliefs. It was a call to intellectual independence. Existentialist philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir emphasized human freedom. They argued that existence precedes essence. This means we are born without a predefined purpose. We are free to create our own meaning in life. Society might try to impose roles on us, but ultimately we are responsible for our choices. This philosophy can be daunting, but it is also empowering. It tells us we are the authors of our own lives. Okay, so Section 5, the red pill moment, awakening to the constructed reality. You know, the first step to breaking free is really just awareness. It's kind of like taking the red pill in the movie TheMatrix. You choose, to see the world as it is, not just as it appears. This means recognizing that many of your beliefs are not your own. They've been inherited or absorbed over time. Your ideas about success, beauty, or what makes a good life. Where did they come from? Are they truly yours? Or are they just echoes of your culture, your upbringing, or even your social media feed? This awakening, well, it can be uncomfortable. It can feel like the ground is shifting beneath your feet. Suddenly, things that seemed solid and real, they start to appear more fragile. You might begin to see the rules of the game, the unspoken agreements that govern social interactions, and the invisible power structures that shape opportunities. But hey, this is not about becoming cynical. It's about becoming a more conscious observer of yourself and the world around you. It's really the start of critical thinking. Now, there are practical ways to cultivate this awareness. Mindfulness meditation, for instance, can be quite helpful. It teaches you to observe your thoughts without judgment, to see them come and go. Journaling is another powerful tool. Write down your thoughts and feelings, examine your assumptions, and keep asking yourself why, repeatedly, about your beliefs. Why do I want this particular job? Why do I fear this outcome? This kind of self-interrogation can reveal hidden programming. Understand that normal is often just a statistical average or a reflection of dominant cultural narratives. It doesn't mean it's inherently right or best for you. What is normal in one culture can be strange in another. What was normal in the past can be unacceptable today. Recognizing the constructed nature of normal is liberating. It gives you permission to explore alternatives. It opens the door to questioning and choosing differently. Section 6. Deconstructing constructs, the power of critical inquiry. Once you awaken to the illusion, the next step is active questioning. This is where critical inquiry becomes your most valuable tool. Do not accept information passively. Learn to dissect it. Ask who is speaking. What are their interests? Who benefits from this message being believed? This applies to news articles, advertisements, political speeches, and even casual conversations. Become a detective of information, always seeking the underlying motives and assumptions. Challenge your own biases. We all have them. They are mental shortcuts. but they can also be filters that distort reality. Seek out perspectives that are different from your own. Read books by authors from other cultures. Talk to people with different life experiences. Engage in respectful debates. The goal is not necessarily to change your mind on everything. It is to understand why you believe what you believe and to see the issue from multiple angles. Learn to identify logical fallacies and propaganda techniques. These are tricks used to persuade without sound reasoning. For example, an appeal to emotion might bypass your logical mind. An ad hominem attack tries to discredit a person instead of their argument. Knowing these techniques helps you see through manipulation. It helps you make decisions based on evidence and reason, not just on emotional appeals or social pressure. Education in critical thinking is essential here. This process of deconstruction is not about negativity. It is about clarity. It is like cleaning a dirty window so you can see the world more clearly. It empowers you to make more informed choices. It reduces your vulnerability to manipulation. By questioning the constructs, you begin to reclaim your mental sovereignty. You start to think for yourself rather than letting the Matrix think for you. This is a vital step towards true intellectual freedom. Section 7. Scripting your own narrative, the courage to be authentic. After awareness and critical inquiry comes action. This is about consciously choosing your own path. It means defining what is truly important to you, not what society tells you should be important. What are your core values? Honesty, compassion, creativity, adventure? Take time for self-reflection to identify these. These values become your personal compass. They guide your decisions when faced with societal pressures. Once you know your values, you can start setting goals aligned with them. These goals might look different from conventional success. Perhaps your matrix values wealth above all, but your personal value is community service. Your path will diverge. This takes courage. It means being willing to be different, to potentially face misunderstanding or even disapproval from those still deeply embedded in the shared narrative. This is where your inner strength is tested. Start with small steps outside your comfort zone. If you fear public speaking, join a local club. If you always follow fashion, try developing your own style. These small acts of defiance build confidence. They show you that breaking norms is possible, and often the feared consequences are not as bad as imagined. You might even find unexpected support or discover new strengths within yourself you never knew existed. Find your tribe. Seek out people who also value independent thought and authenticity. These could be friends, mentors, or communities. Sharing your journey with like-minded individuals provides support and encouragement. It reminds you that you are not alone in wanting to live a more conscious life. Living authentically is not always easy, but it leads to a deeper sense of fulfillment. It is about scripting your own story rather than playing a pre-assigned role. Section 8. Beyond the Veil. The rich rewards of liberated living. Escaping the matrix is not just about avoiding constraints. It is about embracing a richer, more meaningful existence. One of the greatest rewards is a profound sense of self-understanding. When you strip away societal conditioning, you discover who you truly are, your genuine desires, your unique talents, your authentic self. This self-knowledge is a foundation for a fulfilling life. It allows you to live with greater integrity and purpose. Another reward is the ability to form more genuine connections with others. When you are authentic, you attract people who appreciate you for who you are, not for the mask you wear. Relationships become deeper and more meaningful. You can communicate more openly and honestly. This reduces the loneliness that can come from feeling like you have to pretend. True connection thrives in an environment of authenticity and mutual respect. Living beyond the veil also cultivates resilience. When you understand that many societal pressures are arbitrary, they lose their power over you. You become less affected by external validation or criticism. You develop an inner strength that helps you navigate life's challenges. You are more adaptable because you are not rigidly attached to one way of thinking or living. This mental flexibility is a key asset in an ever-changing world. Ultimately, the reward is a sense of true freedom. This is not the freedom to do anything without consequence. It is the freedom to choose your thoughts, your values, and your path. It is the freedom to live a life that aligns with your deepest self. This brings a unique kind of joy, the joy of discovery, of growth, and of self-creation. It is the satisfaction of knowing you are actively shaping your own experience of reality. Section 9. The ever-unfolding path, a lifelong journey of freedom. Breaking free from the matrix is not a final destination. It is not a one-time event where you suddenly achieve enlightenment. Instead, it is an ongoing process, a lifelong journey of awareness, questioning, and choosing. As society evolves, new narratives and constructs emerge. New forms of the matrix can subtly take shape. Therefore, vigilance and continuous self-reflection are essential. The work of liberation is never truly done. The path to greater freedom requires patience and self-compassion. There will be times when you slip back into old patterns, times when societal pressures feel overwhelming. This is normal. The key is to recognize it without harsh judgment and then gently guide yourself back to a more conscious state. Treat yourself with the same understanding you would offer a friend on a similar journey. Every step, no matter how small, is progress. Embrace the discomfort that sometimes comes with growth. Questioning deeply held beliefs can be unsettling. Stepping outside social norms can feel isolating at times, but this discomfort is often a sign that you are moving beyond your limitations. It is a sign that you are expanding your consciousness. Lean into these moments with curiosity. They are opportunities for profound learning and transformation. True growth rarely happens within the comfort zone. Remember that you are not alone in this endeavor. Many people throughout history and many around you today are on similar paths. They are seeking to live more authentic and meaningful lives. Connect with them, learn from them, and share your own insights. The journey of breaking free is ultimately a journey towards a more human, more connected, and more awake existence. It is a challenging path, but its rewards are immeasurable. It is the adventure of becoming truly yourself.